Hi, welcome back for part 4 of the video series, Messianic Prophecies. The focus of this video is Jacob and Esau. If you like these videos, I would encourage you to subscribe. The foundational scriptures for this video can be found in Genesis chapters 23, 24, and 25 verses 19 to 34, chapters 27 and 28. After Abraham returned from offering the ram that the Lord provided in place of Isaac, the Lord repeated his promise that Abraham's seed would be multiplied as the stars of heaven and the sand of the seashores. His posterity would possess the gate of his enemies, and in return for his obedience to give his only son, that the nations of the earth would be blessed. Genesis 22:16 to 18. Recall that God sent an angel to stop Abraham from sacrificing his son and provided a ram instead. After Sarah died at 127 years old, Abraham insisted that he purchase a cave and a field from Ephron the Hittite for 400 shekels of silver, though he was willing to give it to him to bury his dead. The location was in Machpelah, before Mamre, or Hebron, in the land of the then Canaanites. Since Ephron lived with the children of Heth, the families of Heth and Abraham would be buried there. Genesis 25:7 to 11. God told Abraham to get a wife for Isaac from the city of Nahor in Mesopotamia. He called in his eldest servant to swear that he would not get a wife from the daughters of the Canaanites. When the servant arrived at Nahor, he asked for a sign that he would be choosing the right woman, that when he stood by the well and asked a woman to allow him to drink from her pitcher, that she would also water his camels. Rebekah came and did what the servant asked of the Lord without being asked, and she was asked of whose daughter she was. She said that she was the granddaughter of Nahor and Milcah by their son Bethuel. Genesis 22:22 to 24, and chapter 24, verse 24. She offered him straw for the camels and lodging. He told her family before eating how Abraham had sent him to Nahor to find a wife for Isaac, and that the Lord had led him to his brother's family. He said that the Lord prospered him in his journey, and that he should be allowed to take Rebekah back with him as soon as possible. They agreed. The servant presented gifts of gold and silver and clothing to her brother Laban and to her mother. Rebekah was also given gold and silver and clothing to wear. After lodging for the evening, the servant took Rebekah back to Isaac at the well of Lahairoi, where Isaac was living in his mother's tent. Isaac and Rebekah consummated the relationship there. Genesis chapter 24. Here are two signs that the Lord was following the seed of the Messiah. The first sign was that Rebekah was barren. Genesis 25:21. Recall that Sarah was also barren. When Isaac asked the Lord to cause her to be fruitful, God opened her womb and she conceived. The second sign is that she gave birth to twins. Genesis 25:21 to 26. And there is a great possibility that Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, were triplets, and recall that Abraham may also have been one of the group of triplets that were born to Terah. When Rebekah asked the Lord what was going on in her womb, he told her that two nations were fighting within her, that one nation would be stronger than the other, and that the older would serve the younger. When she gave birth, Esau came out covered with red hair, and Jacob came out hanging on to Esau's heel. A story that I have heard about the struggle between the two is that Jacob was initially to be the firstborn, but that Esau pulled him back to be born first. It could be an explanation as to why Jacob was hanging on to Esau's heel. However, at this point, it's pure speculation. Esau grew to be an excellent hunter and Isaac's favorite because he brought him venison, while Jacob remained intense and was Rebekah's favorite. Then one day, Esau had been hunting and caught nothing. Jacob had cooked up some stew, and when Esau found him, asked for a bowl of food. Jacob sold it to him for his birthright because Esau was hungry, and he said that a birthright didn't matter to him if he was going to starve to death. Genesis chapter 25:34 states that because of this, Esau despised his birthright. Genesis 25:30-34. Before the death of Isaac, Jacob and Esau were going to be blessed, and Esau was to receive his birthright. Isaac told Esau to hunt for the venison he loved and to cook it and bring it to him. While he was hunting, Rebekah told Jacob to get 2 goats, which she would cook, and then use the skin of the goats to cover Jacob's bare skin. Isaac was blind, so when Jacob presented the meal to Isaac, he was confused by his voice and asked for him to come closer to touch him. He felt the hair of the skins of the goats, ate the meal, and blessed Jacob with the birthright, repeating the promise of God. Genesis 27:26-29. When Esau returned, Isaac had no blessing for him, but that he would dwell by the fat of the earth, the rain, and live by the sword. Isaac went on further that Esau would serve Jacob, but that one day he will have dominion and no longer serve his younger brother. Genesis 27:38-40. On that day Esau swore to kill Jacob. Genesis 27:41. Rebekah warned Jacob to flee to live with her brother Laban until Esau's anger was cooled. Isaac charged Jacob that he should not take a wife of the Canaanites, but of Rebekah's brother's daughters in Paddan Aram. Genesis chapter 27:43 to chapter 28:1-5. Many who don't understand the family matrix will say that this was wrong, but the daughters of Rebekah's brother would be a first cousin, but 3 times removed, and not in the same generation. See the family relationship matrix, and Terah is the common ancestor. The relationship was not inappropriate. Next week's video, part 5 of Messianic Prophecies, will be titled Leah and Rachel, Baby Wars. Wrapping things up, if you have not received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, we are encroaching upon the last hour when Jesus will return. The promised Messiah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has come, has been crucified, and rose from the dead to be with our Father in heaven. He makes intercession for all of us to be saved and covered by his blood atonement for our sin. Some of you may not have until tomorrow to receive Jesus Christ, and you may not have time to get things right with God. If you understand what Jesus did for you, then don't wait until tomorrow. The faith of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Moses made your salvation possible. Receive Jesus today. Thank you.